What's up, V.O.W. Voices of Women? It's your girl Alicia Wanshell. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I want to ask that you please subscribe if you have not. Please also make sure that you like and share, and please make sure you leave a comment. Again, thank you so much for tuning in with me tonight. Now, I want to talk about something really important, guys. I want to talk about a term called Familicide. One of my members, her name is Adrienne Barker. I want to thank her so much for being so kind to go out of her way to send me this article. It pertains to men murdering their families, and you know, I noticed that there's been a lot of that going on lately in the news. So you know, if you're like me, I know some of you have wondered, why do so many men kill their families? What's going on with that? Well, that article that Adrienne sent me kind of helped me understand it better. And it's very interesting, guys. So we're going to dive in, okay? We're going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about, first we're going to talk about a term that I learned. It's called, and it's pronounced a couple of ways, okay? So you can pronounce it as familicide or familicide, okay? So you can pronounce it either way, but we're gonna go with familicide, okay? And what that means is basically that it means that it's family murders in which a perpetrator murders their partner and their children, okay? So again, it's murders where the perpetrator murders their partner and their children. Okay, so that's basically what familicide means, okay? Familicide is gender-based, okay? So just in case you're wondering, it is gender-based, and it is committed mostly by men. You rarely see women commit these types of crimes. So again, it is basically committed by men, and I read recently that 94% of the victims are women, okay? So next, familicide, also to add with that, not only is it only committed by men, but it's committed by men in heterosexual relationships, okay? So I want to throw that out there as well. And another thing that they pointed out is that it is usually committed by a non-Hispanic white man. Now, it happens with other races as well, but the majority are non-Hispanic white men, okay? So I just want to throw that out there as well. In most cases, okay, there's been a 39 to 92% history of domestic violence, okay? So the majority of the time, there's been a history of domestic violence. So that had a high risk, that played a high risk factor in this situation, okay? That was a key factor, put it that way. Another key factor is whenever the adult victim or the wife or girlfriend, whomever, whenever they communicate that they have intentions of leaving the relationship, or you know, they leave the relationship, that's another key factor, okay? That's another key risk factor. All right, what else? Now, just to be clear, it's not always a history of domestic violence. Sometimes it just happens suddenly, and the reason why is because that person, that male, lost control in some way. Okay, that's a very important factor there. That whenever they just lose control, it doesn't matter whether it's over their relationship, it could be over their finances, it could be over the person that they're, you know, in that relationship. It doesn't matter. Once they lose that control, they totally lose it, and it causes them to snap, and they go on a rampage, and they kill their family and their kid, their partner and kids. Okay. What else here? Now, here's something here, and again, I just briefly touched on one of the risk factors, and that is losing control over like their finances. It could be over their family, you know. It could be their, you know, over their masculinity. You know, when they lose control over their masculinity, that plays a major part. Okay, that plays a major part in this crime here. Again, sometimes it may just happen out of the blue. Okay, you know, I know many of you have seen on, you know, on television, on news, where the person, you know, killed their family, and the neighbors were like, he was such a nice guy, and he was such a sweet person, and, you know, that type of thing. It happens. Sometimes things happen just like that, you know. Again, the person will not always show signs of abuse. You will not always have that. Sometimes they just snap. It just happens all of a sudden. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Recently, we had a case where a family went missing. No one had seen them for weeks, and they put out a missing persons report for the family. Well, just recently, it was like around somewhere in January, they found the family in a home, and this happened in Celebration, Florida, guys. So that's near Disney. They found the family in a home. It was a wife, okay? It was a wife and her 3 kids and their family dog. They were all deceased. The husband, he survived. They did say that he attempted to commit suicide, but he was unsuccessful. Now, in my opinion, I think that, you know, if he really wanted to follow through, I think he could have done it. But hey, so yes, they did find the family. Unfortunately, they were all deceased, and it was a very, very sad ending because everyone was hoping that they would find them alive. And you know, they had recently published a story about Anthony Todt and his past childhood, and they stated that his father had actually hired someone to kill his wife, which was Anthony Todt's mom, and she lived. He hired a student to shoot her, and the bullet went through her skull and came out through her eye, and, you know, unfortunately she was blinded, but the good part was that she survived. And he was sent to prison for that crime. And the sad part about it, guys, is that Anthony Todt, he was just a little boy, and he was home at the time when this crime happened, and he woke up, they say, to his mother's scream. So I mean, that's a very traumatic thing for a child to have to experience, you know. So but I will say this: the major factors that played a key in Anthony Todt's decision of killing his family, I believe, had something to do with his finances, because as it stated in the news, he had his own practice in a different state, and apparently he lost his business due to Medicaid fraud. So he was going through a lot with that, and then not to mention they had just recently been evicted out of one of their homes, and from my understanding they did have a couple of homes. So they had a couple of homes, but they were evicted out of one. So, you know, at that point right there, I believe Anthony snapped and just went ballistic, and, you know, he took his family out. And I read somewhere too where men like Anthony Todt, you know, they do not like leaving their family to struggle, you know, with financial burdens or anything, you know. So, you know, unfortunately, you know, we lost a beautiful family. Another similar story happened just recently in Florida again. This time it was a border patrol officer, and in the article it was kind of confusing because in the article it stated that he had been relocated, him and his family, they had been relocated to Orlando, Florida for a job. And you know, again, similar situation, you know, no one had seen the family for days, for weeks, or whatever, and someone had the police do a family well check, and they found the family inside, deceased. And this time they found the husband and the wife and their 2 sons, and the sons were middle age and high school age. So there was middle school and high school ages. So, you know, that was pretty sad. Not sure what happened in that case, you know, exactly. Again, they say that they were relocated to Orlando, but then I read in an article, which made it confusing, is that one of the neighbors said that they lived in a home for like 5 years. Now, then again, they could have been speaking of themselves. So, that was that. So again, just to point out some of the factors that take place in these situations, you have financial struggle, imminent separation, you have custody disputes, you know, all of those things, you know, that play a major role in these familicides or familicides, however you want to pronounce it, okay? Either way, it's pronounced both ways. So, but yeah, so guys, I want you to make sure that you are being saved. If you know someone who's going through a financial crisis or, you know, family problems, please reach out to them. You know, reach out. We have some help out there. We have the Mental Health American Hotline. They can text 741-741. We also have the National Suicide Line. We have that number is 1-800-273-8255. We also have the Veterans Crisis Line. The Veterans Crisis Line is 1-800-273-8255. And then last, ladies, we have the National Domestic, sorry about that, guys. We have the National Domestic Abuse Line, and that's for you ladies who know someone who's going through abuse, or if it's yourself, please reach out for some help. That number is 1-800-799-7233, okay? Again, if you know someone who's going through domestic violence, please reach out, okay? Reach out. And if it's you, please, you reach out for some help, okay? It's not healthy and it's not safe. I say that all the time, okay? And now we know that the person does not have to have a history of domestic violence. So if you're in a situation where there's like financial struggle or family issues, please make sure you guys are seeking the proper help needed, okay? Because it's very dangerous. You know, we are losing way too many beautiful families, and so we have to, you know, reach out and help each other. You know, a lot of times we can see things going on or notice something going on with in a family, and we'll turn our heads as if we don't see anything happening, you know. And I think that's a major problem now. You know, I know a lot of people don't like to get involved nowadays, but, you know, if we can save a life, why not? Or if we can save lives, why not? You know, I've been through so much in my life, and it's a blessing for me to be here right now, to be honest with you. I've been through a lot. I've been through a whole lot, and I'm just very grateful to be here. So, you know, I think the least that I can do is I can use my voice to help somebody else, and I hope that you too will use your voice to help somebody. Okay, I'm also planning to write a book. I'm working on several books right now, but I'm planning to write a book, and I want to feature other women in their stories of domestic violence and abuse, and I want to know how you dealt with the situation when you was in it. I want to know how you survived, how you got out of it, you know, all of those things. So I will be reaching out. I do have a group called V.O.W. My page is V.O.W. 2019. That's V.O.W. and that's Voices of Women 2019. I also have my group, which is V.O.W. and then quotation marks. I think in my last video I said parentheses, but it's not parentheses, it's quotation marks. So V.O.W. quotation marks Voices of Women. Okay, I still wanted to say parentheses for some reason, so I just would like for you, I really hope that you guys will join me. I do also have an Instagram page as well, and that too is V.O.W. 2019. Okay, so please make sure you guys get connected, join me, you know, participate in some of the group chats, post encouraging words, share your stories, whatever. Okay, just please get connected with us. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, please don't forget to share, and please don't forget to subscribe. I said it so backwards, but you get what I'm saying. So please make sure you share with your family and your friends. Make sure you like, you share, and you know, subscribe. Okay, all right guys, I love you. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.